Welcome back to the Rebuilt Parish podcast. Today, we are on site at Nativity and interviewing Megan and Sage from the NextGen team. I'm excited for you to get to learn from them as they share their passion for their Children's Liturgy of the Word program and talk about some of the best ways to engage kids here in your parish. Now, I have to tell you, they are going to give a little sneak peek of what one of their breakout sessions is going to look like at Rebuilt Conference, so make sure you listen to the whole episode. We'll see you inside the episode. Megan, Sage, welcome and thank you for joining us on the Rebuilt Parish podcast today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're glad to be here.
Oh, it's so exciting. Well, I would love, could you, we're talking about next generation and Children's Liturgy of the Word today. Can you introduce yourselves and just share a little bit about what you do here at Church of the Nativity?
Sure. I'm Megan Gleekin, and I'm the Children's Creative Director here at Nativity. And I've been on staff for, I think, 12 years now. It's kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
I actually started as a volunteer, and I wrote curriculum as a volunteer first for Children's Liturgy of the Word, and then eventually came on staff. So I kind of have like a teaching background, so I love kids and I love to write curriculum, so it was kind of a natural fit too. But time travelers, we call it time travelers because some people might not know, because we travel back in time to hear the word of God. And then we can travel back with the knowledge that we have to live out our faith every day. So that's how the name, I did not make up the name, I inherited it, but that is the reason that we call it time travelers.
Such a fun name.
Yeah. So my name is Sage Garvey, and I joined staff about 2.5 years ago to help Megan with time travelers as well. So I help her write a lot of the content, and we film a lot of the videos that we make for time travelers together. And so we make a great team and love doing it.
Oh my gosh, so fun. Yeah. When you talk about the filming that you do, so I'm so grateful that I get to be here on campus at Nativity right now, which is really fun. But I get to peek into the studio that you use and see your green screen and all of your props and your setup. And it was so fun. And I think at Rebuilt Conference, people have the opportunity to check that out, right?
Yes, definitely.
That's amazing. If they have not decided to come yet, like that alone is worth it just to see this studio. It's so cool.
I love showing people the studio. They walk in, they're like, oh, wow.
Yeah. I think that was my first time seeing a green screen in real life. That was awesome.
Yeah. That was not easy to get Father Michael to let us paint the whole wall that color green, but it's the only color that works for green screening. So
I'm sure he'll forgive you for that. Well, let's talk about it. What does a typical Children's Liturgy of the Word session look like here at Church of the Nativity?
Yeah, so the kids come in right before the first reading during Mass. We have a special video that we play, and our ministers bring them over to the theater where we have time travelers. And then our usual formula is they're coming into a song, they make a name tag, and then we'll have two hosts that will be presenting a scenario, a problem they're having.
Usually it's kind of funny too. Right, we try to make it like funny.
Relatable or just ridiculous. So it kind of grabs the kids' attention right away. And then a lot of times kids have a lot of energy when they're coming in. So then we do some sort of interactive running around game that we try to relate either to the scenario or to the bottom line, which is what we're trying to teach the kids in the end. We do a game, then usually the hosts still aren't quite sure about how to solve their problem, so we show them the Bible story, which is the answer to the problem. And then we'll usually pray and then meet as small groups within time travelers to kind of do another small group activity and hone in what we learned.
That way they can learn to apply it too.
Right.
Yes, That's so cool. Well, and if people haven't seen time travelers in action, I had the opportunity to do that, and wow, the level of excitement in that room is intense. These kids are happy to be at church. I don't think I've ever seen a group of kids that excited to be at church before.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, they come running in. They're like lucky to be, they're like trying to be the first ones to be there sometimes. Yeah. It's so fun. Yeah, just to see the joy and excitement too. It brings a lot of joy.
Oh my gosh, so cool. Well, let's talk about why is it so important that we have this dedicated time for Children's Liturgy of the Word during Mass?
Well, kids are concrete learners, so they need things that they can build understanding through, like a concrete example. Abstract ideas, which faith really is, just doesn't make a lot of sense for them. So having them just like sit through a homily, they're not going to get a lot out of that. But if you can relate it to kids and show them how a gospel story or something from the Bible can impact them and help them in their life, then they're going to be able to connect to it a lot better.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think about like when I was a kid, I don't really remember any homilies that I could remember or applied in my life until I was like maybe in high school. And so it's super important to have something that is concrete and relatable so that they can start growing their faith now.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know what? I don't think I've really thought about it before, but I think the first time I can even remember a homily, I think I was already in my early 20s. I mean, I don't remember any from being a kid. And children's liturgy of the word might have been a thing when I was growing up, but we didn't have it at any of my parishes.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I love that. And Megan, knowing your education background too, like that just makes so much sense that children are concrete learners and faith is so abstract. So they need something that can relate to them so they can learn. So what are some of the strategies or methods that you have found that have been the most effective at engaging kids this way?
This is going to sound like a weird answer, but fun.
Yes.
It's not weird. It's true.
But that's not like a traditional thing
That's
you
true.
think about
Yeah.
when you think about children's liturgy of the word. I've been in parishes before where I helped out with children's liturgy of the word. And it's great to read scripture to kids, but if you can't help them remember it, then they're going to leave the room not remembering anything you said. So you have to make it fun and engaging so that they'll remember it and be able to share that information with their family, but then also be able to live it out in their life every day.
Yeah, and something to remember too is, I mean, they're kids, so their attention spans are not the same as adults.
Right.
I think I've heard like, the average attention span of a kid is their age plus 5 minutes, which even then I think is a little too long. We kind of found that, about 5 minutes per activity that we're doing is about all the kids can absorb at one time. So that's why we do have that kind of flow of like, the host having a problem and presenting that on the stage, and then we switch to a game, and then we switch to the Bible story, and then we switch to a small group activity. So it's like a multi-sensory approach as to like what we do, and so that there's at least something somewhere where maybe a kid can, attach onto and remember.
Yeah. Well, it makes so much sense too when you think about the way kids are consuming content these days too. I mean, I don't know about all the kids that you've seen lately, but my kids I know are constantly watching like YouTube shorts, things like that, like 30 seconds. That's about like, and then they're switching.
Yes.
So it makes sense to serve them content in the same way that is going to hold their attention.
We also try to like ramp up the energy in the beginning and then bring them down. So it's like we start off high energy with the game, and then the Bible story is usually a video. And so we're starting to bring them down. Small group, we're bringing them down so that when they go back to Mass, that they're prepared for the liturgy of the Eucharist.
Yeah. That's so smart too, because I feel like if you would do it the opposite way, the parents sitting out there might not be thanking you for bringing their kids super hyped up when they're, we're trying to prepare for the most holy moment in Mass. Oh my gosh. That's such a great strategy though. Well, I know you must have so many success stories with children that you've really helped to connect with their faith through this. Can you share an example of a success story you've got?
I'd like to share a story about an activity that we did. Sage, remember when we played Spread the Love and we had the big balloons and basically, if you ever played Clear the Yard, it's where you have two teams and we use balloons and you try to get the balloon on the other team's yard. And so we say you need to get rid of the love because you want to share it. So you're trying not to have the love on your side. At the end of the game, this was part of our plan. We gave the winning team 2 pieces of candy to have after Mass, of course. And then we asked them how they felt that they won 2 pieces of candy. And then we went to the other side, the losing team, and asked how they felt. And of course, the
winners were, thrilled and so excited because normally if we give candy, it's just 1 piece. And this time, we got 2 pieces of candy. So that's very exciting.
But they were very encouraging to their teammates.
Right.
And then we went back to the other team when we said, do you hear how they felt not winning? And they said, oh, well, maybe we could do something about it. And we said, oh, well, what could you do? And they gave up their candy. So we kind of like planted that seed. But it was a great way for them to understand that they can spread the love, that they can be part of this. I think that was a really big win for us.
Definitely. Yeah, learning to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and, know what they're feeling and realize that, like you can do something like Jesus asks us to.
Yeah. And what a tangible way, too, with the candy.
Exactly. The concrete,
Yes. It's
now, not every kid gave it away, I will tell you.
It's hard. It's hard.
But I would say most of them did. And then everyone had candy by the end. But
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, A lot of our parishes are tuning in because they would like some help with their NextGen and Children's Liturgy of the Words programs. What advice would you give to them as they're looking to either enhance or maybe start their own Children's Liturgy of the Word?
I mean, definitely start small. You know, we didn't like create this overnight. It's been, I mean, Megan's been here for 12 years. It's something that we continue to grow and change and evolve. So, you know, pick one thing that maybe you want to focus on. Like maybe you want to have a worship song and a dance song that you're doing, or maybe you want to focus on like, maybe for a month, let's really focus on our games and see if we can relate them to our Bible story or whatever it may be. Like, don't try and do it all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we always like to think about like what was fun for us as kids, or I'm a mom of 3, like what my kids liked at certain ages and what helped them to learn. And because when you are having fun when you're learning, you're going to remember things better.
Yes,
Exactly.
that's a great point. When you're having fun, when you're learning, you're going to remember it. How do you ensure that this ministry stays aligned with the overall mission and vision of the parish?
So we have a message team. So our message team meets in the spring to decide all of the themes for the year. So we kind of hash out the themes. And then weekly, we meet as a team to go over that week's message. Prior to that, though, we are given an outline for each series. So it's the outline for Big Church, and then Sage and I take that outline and say, okay, how does this fit for kids? So like in the beginning of the year, we did one on unity. And so we called ours All for One, and we really focused in on ways kids can unify and work as a team. And that's what they did in Big Church too, but we looked at it from a kid's point of view, which is mainly like teams and
Teamwork and
groups.
that. Yeah.
We're excited because the Rebuilt Parish Conference is coming up June 1st and 2nd. And I know that the two of you are going to be involved in some of the breakout sessions that we're having. So can you maybe just give us like a little sneak peek of what the attendees can expect when they come?
Yeah. Well, I know we work with kids, so we're all about that tangible, concrete learning. So we're definitely going to have some sneak peek videos of some of the past time travelers that we've had and different concrete examples and games that we can play and ways that you can adapt what you're doing to, you know, share the gospel.
We'll also be showcasing a time traveler's experience during the
Yes.
NextGen experience. I
Very
believe
exciting.
it's before the conference begins, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the early access experiences.
Yes.
That is
So you can check it
exciting.
out and see what time travelers looks like and really get to experience it.
Be a
'Cause
kid.
I think when you experience it, then I think you, just like kids,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
you're
Well,
able to understand it.
And like I said, the first time I saw time travelers, I was like, whoa, I don't even know what I expected, but it was just so much more energy and excitement than I could have ever just even imagined. Why do you think breakout sessions like these are valuable for our parishes?
Well, when I was a volunteer, I was taken to the Orange Conference in Georgia, and I was just a volunteer, but that experience opened my eyes to how we could engage kids in a different way. And it sparked a passion in me that eventually now I'm on staff. So you just never know when you come in and see something and learn new things, how that God can use that to grow you in different areas of your life, even in your job.
Yeah. I mean, and it's encouraging too to like be among people who are in the same boat as you or have the same goal or dream or vision as you. You know, you might meet someone at a breakout and be like, oh, we're trying to do this, so we did that and this works for us. You know, it's a lot of collaboration and conversation that can happen, you know, and we're all in this together. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I love that you said that, Sage, because I feel like that's one of the beauties of a conference too. So they're coming to learn from us, but they can grow together. They can make those connections with other parishes that are trying to do a lot of the same things that they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what would you say to someone who's maybe on the fence about if they should come to the conference or if they should come to one of these NextGen breakout sessions?
I say do it.
It's going to be great.
You're going to have fun. You're going to be encouraged. You're going to refuel yourself, because we all know if you're in ministry, it's tough sometimes. And so sometimes we just need that little extra encouragement to keep us going. And then just learning and sharing from others. I just think that's always a win-win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Jesus said where 2 or more are gathered, like I am there. And so
Yeah.
Jesus is going to be there. The Holy Spirit's going to be there. And so, I mean, you can expect big things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jesus is going to be there. We're going to have Mass, adoration. We'll have the sacrament of reconciliation. So there's so much more going on too, besides the learning and the
Right.
connection.
Like, fill your soul too, because you need that.
Yes.
We need that.
Oh my Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Well, we know our theme is Can You Imagine? So how can a team leave here being encouraged and inspired to reimagine their vision for NextGen in their parish?
Well, I think you learn new strategies. And I think when you do that with a team, then you're all kind of on the same page. And then when you get back, you can try strategies together and then kind of hold each other accountable, but then also like give suggestions. So do you remember, I heard about this in this breakout. Did you ever think about trying that for, the host team or for the parking team or something like that?
The teens or whatever. Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. And I think about too, Jesus, he was flexible in his ministry too. He was working with people one-on-one. He was teaching in small groups. He was gathering in large crowds. So, it's the same sort of thing here. Like, you're going to meet people one-on-one. You're going to be in small groups. You're going to be in large crowds. So you're not only going to be encouraged, but also kind of can shift that way that you think about how you do ministry. Like, maybe you do want to make a ministry that you have more of a large group, or maybe you want to, bring it down and do more of a one-on-one thing. So can kind of give you different ideas.
That's a great point. I love how you made that parallel to the way Jesus led his ministry too. A lot of that will be happening. Well, as we're wrapping up today, if you could share one piece of advice with parish leaders out there who maybe need a little bit of encouragement on working on this children's liturgy of the word experience, what would you share with them?
I think we have to remember that kids are the future. And I've read, this might have changed because I read this a while ago, but that kids by the age of 12 have already decided whether or not they believe in God, which to me is frightening.
Yeah.
But that makes it crucial that we plant these seeds young, when they're young, and show them how God can work in their lives and how he can change them. And so engaging kids in a meaningful way makes them a tool for evangelism, and it will help build their faith so that they can live out in their families and in their communities.
Yeah. And definitely just know, what you're doing matters. You're making a difference whether you feel it or not. I mean, there's always going to be resistance when you're doing something good, and that doesn't mean that you should stop. It means that you should keep going.
Right.
Yeah. So even we face that week to week. And I always say to Megan, when maybe something's not working or it's taking longer, we're like, well, that just means that we're going to be changing the lives of children this week,
Absolutely.
and we're just going to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes those things happen. We know that spiritual warfare is a real thing, and when you're working on making a difference like that,
right,
the enemy will fight you on it. But
exactly.
you're absolutely right. It means you're doing something really big here.
Right. Exactly. So
We
keep
say,
going.
"Not today."
Yes, not today.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, Megan, Sage, I'm so grateful that you took the time to pour into our Rebuilt community today. I'm excited that they're going to get to learn from the both of you, plus the rest of the NextGen team. I think we've got a breakout session basically in every, for NextGen in every single session, which is incredible. So many things to learn about, which is great. But we're just excited that we get to all be here together June 2nd and 3rd for the Rebuilt Conference, and people can register at rebuiltconference.com. and choose their breakout sessions and get to hang out with the two of you and ask you questions.
Yes, come join us.
It's gonna be
We'd love to see you.
I'm excited. Well, thank you again for joining us today, and we're just excited, and I'll see you at the conference.
Yay.
Yeah, we'll be there.
We'll be there.